Today we're featuring HALE and KIMI Takazawa, who has translated their corporate experience into starting their own businesses while managing their family. You can log onto our website at greatergoodradio.com.
So, HALE, it sounded like a pretty difficult start. How did you guys get out of that? I mean, how did you pull through it?
Sometimes I don't think it's what I did at all. It kind of happens by itself. Actually, Kimi helped me a lot. And
thank you.
Kimi's like
good answer.
Kimi is a master marketer. She can probably sell anything, and she'll probably have stories about how when she was younger, she was like a top salesperson at the Limited or in New York, and she can tell you about that. But so she had some really creative ideas about how we should promote ourselves, because I mean we have one good client, but as all entrepreneurs know, you cannot only have one good client, because once that gets chopped out from under you, your history.
So what did she advise you to do? What were maybe 2 or 3 things that you guys did?
Yeah, some of the things we did was we went to the trade shows, like the one of the home and garden shows, I think it was, so we went to get small residential clients, or at least go fishing to get a big client, and we got just one, and that one was owner, lives out in Portlock. We did a house for him. Actually, Kimi got the contact with him at the trade show, and she sold him. And then he met with me, and he's like, okay, great. And so we did a house, and it's actually on, you'll see it on Little Grass Shack. It's a local cable station that shows home building. So this home is, 7,000 square feet right on the water in Portlock and Honolulu. And
you got the client, and then you also got it on television.
And
did the client get it on television, or did you guys get it on television?
I have to credit Kimi too, because she's the one that got in contact with the show's producer and pitched it, and we sent our drawings, and they were ecstatic about it because it was on the water and it was a real Hawaii kind of experience. So that I credit to Kimi too.
Yeah, you want to hear my pitch at the trade show?
Sure.
What I said?
Sure.
So, of course, architecture people are like notorious for not being really outgoing. So there I was in the front. My pitch, okay, can you imagine? Blaisdell Center, all these people walking by. My pitch was, "Hi, we can design your home in 1 minute or less. Want to try?" So anyway, this guy came and he goes, "You can? Okay, fine." So he gave me 1 minute. I told him how great Pacific Atelier was. And then that next week, he came in for an appointment.
Yeah. So now we're building our second house with him right next door, and that one's being filmed on Little Grass Shack as well. So that one's under construction.
So you've developed a relationship with the television producer for that show, then?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So does that mean that majority of your projects you can get on television?
We can try. I mean, if you have a good project, and now I'm talking to other designers or so forth, it's now with HGTV and all of those other types of shows. I mean, it's so much easier to get exposure, especially with local cable or radio like this. It's great.
So you did trade show to start, then you did television, and then what else did you do?
And we did radio, and that was Kimi's idea again. She said, "Why don't you guys have a radio show?" So we were, so Fabrizio and I decided to start up a radio show. It was called Architects on Call, and some people, I'm sure some of the listeners have heard it. We were on KCCN right after Bobby Curran's show on Tuesday mornings.
On the same channel, 1420?
Right on 1420, that's right.
Things come around full circle then, huh?
Yeah.
Did people call in and you guys answered their questions? Is that how it went?
People would call in, and I tell you, the biggest show that lights up the phone lines are like termites. In Hawaii, it's ground termites. They'll eat your home out in 3 months. So people were calling about termites. They'd call about how to build their own homes. There were other shows we talk only about creativity and education. I mean, so it varied, but we talked about a lot of different things. People like talking about architecture, I guess.
What did you find that came out of that? Did you find more business? Were they calling you and hiring you? Was it just you were more credible? What did you get out of that?
I think it was mainly exposure. Like, people knew who we were. They knew what Pacific Atelier means. I mean, we can talk about what atelier means.
And then they'll say like, "Oh, you're the guy in the radio."
Yeah, and people would know that, oh yeah, there was a radio show, or even people that we knew that didn't really know that we were in business or had our own business. They knew because they heard that we were on the radio. So it just basically sends the word out that yes, we're in business. It's like putting out your little sign on your shop. Basically, it's kind of the same thing. So you don't really go out to get any specific clients, but it's more to build whatever reputation somebody wants to form in their head about you. You can't control your reputation at too much. Most people form their own opinion about you.
Were you worried at all in the beginning? If would anybody listen to this, or did they think it's interesting? Did that ever come to your mind?
Yeah. I mean, we thought, that it would be interesting because there's no one else online talking about architecture, about buildings. And it always comes out in the paper, so there are always issues about, the mayor's building this, or they're doing that, or they're taking down trees, or whatever it is, and we're so we always have something to say about that, and not all architects agree, but we're out there saying it, and we just want to start a dialogue about it.
So would you say it's more of a mix than that you do with marketing, or is there one specific marketing aspect that seems to be the most effective?
The most effective for us, for the service industry, is get your clients and just do the best work that you possibly can. And it all comes down to, it's not even human relations, it's just doing the right thing. So if you know you did something wrong, just don't hide it. Just admit it right away and fix it as fast as you can. And your clients will respect that. And then the product actually comes out a lot better because there's a lot of good energy around it, and it feels really good. And at that point, that's when the referrals start coming. And the referrals are really important, especially in a small market when you're dealing with, Hawaii is a small market. Everybody knows each other, and they don't care if they heard you on the radio. All they care is, is this guy using them? Is Jeff Stone using them? They must have something. So it really depends on getting a good client and keeping them happy, and then at that point, I don't know, humans just like to use people who are. Not everyone likes to use the dark horse or the wild card. They always like to go with somebody who's already a winner. So it gets easier once you get some good victories along the way.
I think an important point there, though, is that when you screw up and you make the mistake and then you fix it, screw ups are going to happen, and when things go well, everyone, it's easy, right? Everyone's great when everything goes well. Yeah. But the true test is when something goes wrong, are they going to really fix it? And how is that process?
Yeah, that's when you step up. Yeah.
That's where you can really set yourself apart.
When you step up, and at that point, you're not even thinking about money or how much you're going to make or your bottom line. You're doing it because it's the right thing, and you just do it because it's right, and you got to keep your clients happy.
You're listening to Greater Good Radio, the show that develops tomorrow's business leaders by bringing you together with today's top business people.